Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But on what's brewing today, Ahmedabad-based space tech startup SatLeo Labs has raised $3.3 million in a pre-seed funding round led by Merak Ventures with participation from Huddle Ventures, GVFL, Java Capital and others. Now, the funds will fuel the development of SatLeo's proprietary thermal imaging payload, team expansion and pilot testing. This as the company aims to transform Earth observation and position India as a global leader in space-based intelligence. Joining me now to elaborate on their growth plans is Urmil Bakhai, the co-founder of SatLeo Labs. Urmil, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. You know, before we get into the nitty-gritties of the fundraise, if you could sort of tell us what makes SatLeo Labs' thermal imaging technology unique compared to existing Earth observation solutions, and if you could sort of, explain that to us in layman's terms, and how soon will you be able to make this commercial and launch it in the markets?
Sure, thank you. Thank you for having me. I am Urmil Bakhai, co-founder at SatLeo Labs. Our Mother Earth has a fever, right? And that fever is global warming. The rising heat is just not the climate statistics, but it is already impacting our agriculture, our cities, and the frequency of natural disasters. So at SatLeo, we are building India's first high-resolution thermal intelligence satellites to track the temperature in real time. By turning space-based data into actionable insights, we aim to help governments, industries to respond faster with the environmental change and protect our planet more effectively. We're going to have a constellation of satellites which will basically capture high-resolution thermal and optical data, and which will enable smarter decisions for the industries like agriculture, infrastructure, energy, and defense. Not to forget that as well. So what is happening is today's our Earth observation focuses on visual and radar imagery more, but thermal data, which tells us about heat and energy, remains largely underutilized. This data is critical for monitoring overheating transformers, to stress crops, to leaking pipelines, and even border intrusions. All of them, giving heat, long before they fail to escalate. So that's what SatLeo is all about.
Absolutely. If you could sort of, quickly in 30 seconds, let us know the kind of, economic and environmental impacts that SatLeo Labs' technology can have on India's space economy. And if you could give us some use cases, you've implemented some smaller pilots at a much smaller scale.
So, the Earth observation market is around $700 billion, turning out to be a $700 billion by 2030. Out of which, $300 billion will only come from optical and thermal data, because getting GHG gas emissions. When we talk about monitoring our environment, to track GHG gas emissions, it becomes very, very, very evident. And that's how SatLeo Labs, by having very, very high resolution thermal patterns of the globe, can also identify GHG gas emission, and that's how it will help unearth these insights very deeply.
Right, absolutely. And you've raised this $3.3 million of pre-seed funding to scale your operations as well as validate your technology, right? So if you could sort of explain to us or elaborate on the plans you have for this money that you've raised.
So this is our pre-seed fund. It's a maiden fund for us. We have so far carried on as a bootstrap. But now this will help us complete our design, and by December we are planning to have our test launch, and by mid of next year we are planning to have our first satellite launch. That will the money basically will be utilized for testing, manufacturing and developing these payloads, and also to expand our team in terms of the data science, the AI and ML platform, which we are also going to put across.
Right, absolutely. So that's the plans for the money that you've raised. And how, you've also said that you have $25 million in letters of intent. If you could sort of tell us what industries are showing the most early demand for your product, and how soon will you be able to, sort of fulfill these to have a sustainable revenue stream?
So, as you mentioned earlier, we've already started deploying some pilots. Now, these pilots, we still don't have our first satellite, but we have developed a small payload which we are utilizing in a drone kind of a setup and capturing data for a small area. For example, when municipal corporations want to track GHG gas emissions around the solid waste dumps, or a solar farm want to basically have exact faulty panel identification which thermal data can do. This kind of pilots we've already started doing it, and the LOIs are generally across there is a European giant in agriculture which has shown early partnership with us. There are system integrators, technology providers which are closely working with governments to solve heat island problems, to solve agriculture problems, and not to forget the defense. Defense is also from the early surveillance perspective, showing huge interest in having this thermal data, and specifically having a fuse of thermal as well as optical data from our side.
Right, absolutely. And if you could sort of tell us what kind of role do you think collaborations with ISRO and InSpace will play in SatLeo Labs' growth and regulatory strategy?
Yeah, so this is actually startups like us. I've been now getting into this only because regulatory bodies like InSpace has been huge support. Not to forget ISRO. I mean, we are fortunate of being here in Ahmedabad, where we get huge talent pool. From the existing ISRO facilities here in Ahmedabad, as well as the in-space facilities. So, startup like us don't need to invest in huge testing and calibration and those kind of facilities, and huge support from both of this organization. It is a kind of a backbone to us in terms of getting these things going on at a very fast pace.
You know, the government has given a lot of companies like yours a lot of impetus and they've done a lot in terms of regulation, in terms of funding for companies like y'all. What else do you think the government needs to do at this point to boost, India's solar space?
I think yes, they have given a huge support to us. Going forward, I think it is more of an industry collaboration, right? More and more government departments who wants to use this data. If government can facilitate startups like us, where there is a platform where they can consume this data on a commercial base, right? As we all know that government the life cycle of adoption of this technology because of certain processes it's very slow. That's where I think government can still support startup like us by having some kind of a preference to the startups, and that we feel can really aid this economy and this sector very well.
Right. And what are SatLeo Labs' key milestones and geographic targets for expansion for the coming year?
So we'll start with India, like our first satellite, and obviously that satellite will not only capture India, but will also cover, some kind of some part of Middle East as well, where heat island identification is very, very critical. And then we will expand to, other geographies like Southeast Asia, as well as part of Europe and US as well. It's going to be this is a disruption, right? So it's going to be definitely consumed by the entire world as such. We see huge market globally as well.
So big expansion plans there. All right, Urmil, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. We wish you all the best with this journey going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you.